Jeffrey Epstein, financier, socialite, and convicted sex offender. He moved in the world's most powerful circles, but behind the wealth and the influence was a criminal history that shocked the nation.
Yes, today we're going to break down Epstein's rise, his crimes, the elite connections that protected him, and the controversial circumstances surrounding his death.
Welcome to Fix Our Nation. I'm Peter Smith.
And I'm still Ted Wesson.
A viewer wrote on a previous episode asking, where were the Epstein files? Well, now's a good time to dig into that.
Certainly.
As Congress moves to release all of the files held by the government outside of the grand jury testimony, these documents could shed more light on Epstein's operations and connections.
I hope they do.
Yes. Just before we sat down to tape this episode, as it was announced on the radio, President Trump has signed a bill produced by Congress to release the Epstein files. Now, let's dig into this episode.
Yes, let's learn a little bit about Epstein himself. He was born in 1953 in Brooklyn. When he was in high school, he went to the prestigious Boys High School, which is one of the most prestigious public schools in Brooklyn. It's known for rigorous academics and has a great history of producing top students and future leaders.
After Boys High, he studied physics at Cooper Union before transferring to New York University, but he never graduated.
Yeah, despite not having his college degree, he still got a math and physics teaching job at Dalton School. It's one of New York's most elite private schools.
Then he jumped into finance, joining Bear Stearns, eventually managing money for some of the world's wealthiest people in the world. That's how he built a network that would later shield him from scrutiny. Epstein's 2008 Florida case remains one of the most controversial examples of how wealth can influence justice. He pleaded guilty to solicitation of prostitution from a minor, but the deal went far beyond a typical case.
Oh, yes. He got a sweetheart non-prosecution agreement, which didn't just limit the charges against himself, but it also granted broad immunity to any potential co-conspirators. Anyone else involved in recruiting or abusing minors wouldn't be prosecuted if he took the fall.
The lead prosecutor was Alexander Acosta, then U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. Acosta negotiated the deal, which included Epstein serving 13 months in a Palm Beach jail with work release privileges 6 days a week, a luxury almost completely unheard of for convicted sex offenders.
Yes. Even more controversial, this agreement wasn't fully disclosed to any of the victims. Many didn't know that the potential co-conspirators that helped groom these people would escape charges by him pleading guilty.
This leniency sparked nationwide outrage. Advocates argued that it undermined the victims' rights and exposed the huge gap between how the justice system treats the ultra-wealthy and politically connected versus the ordinary people.
Yeah, now let's fast forward to 2019. Epstein was arrested again on federal charges, this time in New York and also Florida, for trafficking of minors. This indictment revealed the full scope of his network. Dozens of victims across multiple states, many of whom had been shielded by the 2008 agreement.
Epstein was once a member of Trump's Mar-a-Lago club, but at some point his access was revoked. The details, they're a bit foggy, but multiple reports suggest his membership was closed around October 2007.
Yeah, President Trump has said he removed Epstein after Epstein was allegedly poaching young women that worked at the club spa, making Epstein persona non grata at the club. Some of the investigative book authors also claim that the fallout involved inappropriate behavior towards a teenage daughter of a member of the club.
Public records don't show a formal written ban, so the timing and exact reasons remain unclear, but it's generally agreed that Epstein was effectively removed from the Mar-a-Lago well before his 2008 plea deal. Epstein's connections weren't limited to billionaires and global elites. He He also appeared in political circles. In 2010, he attended Chelsea Clinton's wedding, mingling with the politicians, business leaders, and celebrities. By this time, Epstein's 2008 Florida conviction for soliciting minors was public knowledge, yet he continued moving freely in elite social circles.
That makes you want to go, huh? And then in 2013, he happened to show up at a fundraiser for Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Again, this was years after his original criminal conviction where he pleaded guilty, meaning Jeffries and all the other attendees should have well known about his past crimes. But Epstein maintained access to high-profile political events nonetheless.
Prince Andrew of the United Kingdom is another high-profile associate. He faced allegations of sexual misconduct connected to Epstein, which led to a civil lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre. In January 2022, he was stripped of his royal titles and military affiliations, and he settled the lawsuit out of court shortly thereafter.
And I'm going to throw out that it's reported that Virginia Giuffre got somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 million out of that settlement, even though it's blocked by a non-disclosure agreement. Economist and former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers also appeared in Epstein's social circle. He attended dinners and gatherings with other wealthy and politically connected figures. While there's no evidence of criminal wrongdoing, scrutiny over these connections reportedly led Summers to recently pull back from all public activities.
Even Congress wasn't untouched. In 2019, Stacey Plaskett, the non-voting delegate from the U.S. Virgin Islands, exchanged text messages with Epstein during Michael Cohen's House testimony. Epstein appeared to guide her questions, even sent casual comments about her appearance. Plaskett's office said she gets many texts during hearings, but the revelation sparked public scrutiny.
And I'm sure she always answers those texts in the middle of a hearing. And then we have tech billionaire Bill Gates. He met with Epstein multiple times starting around 2011 for philanthropic discussions. Gates said he regretted those meetings, emphasizing he had no criminal involvement or those personal relationships with Epstein.
Beyond these celebrities, politicians, and academics, Epstein's network included hedge fund managers, university presidents, and diplomats. His Palm Beach home, New York townhouse, and private island served as meeting hubs for these elites.
Yeah, documents and witness statements indicate that many of these connections weren't just social. They provided a shield of legitimacy and protection. Even after allegations became public, Epstein's status as a wealthy, connected socialite seemed to insulate him from immediate legal consequences.
And these connections weren't just in the U.S. Epstein had friends and associates in Europe, the Middle East, and the Caribbean, meaning his influence and his potential ability to evade scrutiny was truly global.
Yes, this raises a lot of chilling questions. How does somebody allegedly committing crimes on this scale maintain access to some of the world's most powerful people for decades?
There has been a lot of speculation over the years that Epstein might have had connections to intelligence agency, but it's important to stress these are just theories. They're not verifiable facts.
Yes, some journalists and former officials point to his financial expertise, international travel, and access to some of the world's most powerful people. They suggest someone with these skills and connections could be useful to intelligence operations.
Other reports note that his private island, multiple residents, and highly secretive lifestyle, which resembles traits you might see in someone gathering sensitive information, but again, there is no confirmed documentation that Epstein ever worked for the CIA, the FBI, Mossad, or any other agency.
I'm pretty sure they don't print a directory of people that work for them. Just saying. So while it's intriguing theory and a lot of people have speculated, there's no verified evidence of Epstein being an official intelligence operative. It's just one of the many mysteries surrounding his life.
Even after Epstein's death, questions about his network haven't gone away. Recently, the Department of Justice tried to release grand jury transcripts to the public, but 3 federal judges blocked the move.
Yes, these judges were Richard Berman, appointed by George Bush, Paul Engelmeyer, and Robin Rosenberg, both appointed by Barack Obama. Despite differing political backgrounds, all 3 cited grand jury secrecy laws, victim privacy, which I'm all for, and legal precedents as the reason to deny these releases.
Berman noted that the transcripts were mostly hearsay from a single FBI agent. You would think that an FBI agent might
be credible.
He might be credible. That's what I'm thinking. Engelmeyer said that the public wouldn't learn much new beyond Maxwell's trial coverage. Rosenberg refused to transfer Florida transcripts to New York, citing strict 11th Circuit rules.
Yes, these rulings highlight a broader issue. Even in one of the most notorious cases of the century, transparency can be blocked by legal safeguards, which I'm for to a degree, regardless of the affiliation of these judges.
In August 2019, Epstein was found dead in his Manhattan jail cell.
Nothing to see here.
The New York City medical examiner officially ruled death a suicide by hanging.
But, again, we have highly suspect circumstances. Epstein was a high-profile detainee in the Metropolitan Correctional Center, yet there were major protocol failures. Cameras outside his cells reportedly just malfunctioned. The guards either fell asleep or they just flat-out falsified records, and they failed to check on him several times for hours.
Now, new footage has emerged from the night of the death. In the video, there is a grainy figure that appears to be moving up the stairs towards his cell around 10:40 p.m., hours before he was found dead.
Yes, the officials claim it's a correction officer carrying linens. But if you watch the video closely, you can see a figure that's wearing an orange uniform or possibly an orange jumpsuit like an inmate. The footage also shows nearly 3 minutes of missing video, and a forensic expert says the clip appears edited, not the full file that the Bureau of Prisons would have released.
These anomalies only add to the controversy. Even with the official ruling of suicide, there are now serious questions about what actually happened in his cell and who had access that night.
Not that any powerful people would have had anything to fear by him squealing like a pig. But regardless of the theory, his death left many questions unanswered and closed the chapter without any full accountability.
Whether Epstein killed himself or not, one thing is universally acknowledged: the full truth was never exposed. Too many powerful people had too much to lose. And on Fix Our Nation, we believe transparency is the foundation of a functioning democracy. Next episode, we'll be breaking down the health insurance crisis, how prices skyrocketed, who profits, and why Congress refused to fix it.